Good morning. Welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I, as always, am your host, Doug Green, kicking off our sixth season with this jackass over here. DJ, we are part of the For Frequency's Sake podcast network, which is presented by Durham Remodeling, Ryan Allison Tattoo, and Jared's Country Financial. We are also joined by Danny Hancock, Joe Winkle, and Brian Craighead. That is the crew for this morning.
I love how you introduce as always, and it's like next week you'll be on the show, and then we won't see you again till December.
Yeah.
Correction, November when we talk about how deviled eggs are the goated appetizer for Thanksgiving.
I like how when he said this jackass, I had to look up to see which one of us he was pointing at.
You could probably say that about all of us.
Yeah.
I'm the only one he's had to deal with for 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making a good run at your title lately.
All right. Well, we are this is the first Sunday of football. We're already 2 games into the season. We already had a game Thursday night and for some reason a game Friday night. And we want to start actually by talking about the Friday night game. Since that was the one where Jared Love got, Jared Love. Yeah, whatever his name is.
What a start.
See, I don't watch much football anymore. I don't think about this outside of like 2 hours on Sundays.
We are on fire right now, guys.
We are.
Good God.
And this is the show after 6 years. So, Jordan Love, that is his name. I knew it started with a J. Jordan Love has himself an injury. So, as of the last that I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are more up to date than this time, that he has an MCL sprain, that he will be out several weeks, but it is not season ending.
That is correct.
I think I'm seeing 4 to 6 weeks, maybe, or something, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
how do
that's
we go about replacing the guy that you probably took as your QB1 in your lineup?
Well,
the
best options. I mean, the question first off becomes, did you draft multiple quarterbacks? That's the one thing, sometimes I think I am one to draft usually 2 quarterbacks to be safe. My thought process going into this year's drafts, especially because of some of the guys that I was aiming for, was to take 2 quarterbacks because last year 66 different quarterbacks played. It's why last year's NFL season seemed very dreadful. So hopefully this Jordan Love injury did not start a trend that I was hoping we would buck this year. But yeah, I think, if you didn't, I know that draft strategy for me is very, very, very different than most, but it is going to be tough. That is a very, he's a very good player. I know he was kind of going in like the 90s to 100s, depending on what type of league you were in or how many people were in your league, but there's still going to be some good options out there, depending, maybe like I'm looking here in one of my leagues, guys that are out there like a Geno Smith, that offense can put some numbers up. Justin Fields might actually be getting a start today. So that's a thing. So who knows? It seems like he's going to be starting way earlier than we expected. And fantasy obviously is way different than reality when we're talking about how good quarterbacks are, because he's not good, but he's been a top 10 fantasy quarterback pretty much for the last year and a half. So those are just a couple options that are still out there. It sucks, but luckily for us as fans of the game and for a fantasy perspective, he's probably not going to be out for much longer than 2 months at most.
Do you not want that $10 today, Joe?
So close.
I know. I'll get there.
$10.
I'll get there eventually.
I'm totally agreeing.
So who's the Packers' backup, and would he be anybody worth considering picking up on the waiver wire?
No.
I wouldn't want him. It's Malik Willis.
The Tennessee Titans didn't even want him.
There's high school quarterbacks I'd rather have than that dude. He's terrible.
I mean, there is some theory about a running quarterback having upside, but he's not going to throw any worth a darn. So, I mean, I'd have a hard time with him. So I totally agree with Joe about having a second quarterback on your roster, you got to think about two things. First of all, we draft all summer. He signed a little late because he was having a contract dispute early on. So you may have drafted a second quarterback anyway. And then the second thing is he's been around quarterback 8 to 12, like Joe said, right around quarterback 10. So to me, I mean, there's a few that I don't back up, like Allen or Mahomes. But theoretically, Jordan Love probably would have been one of two quarterbacks for me personally, maybe playing the better schedule on a given day. So.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely just better backups in general. You could look at if you looking at sleeper right now at available QBs, I mean, mostly some leagues you could still catch like Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff if you're in a shorter league and they're looking at players. You could even, I know a lot of people probably didn't even look at drafting, but Baker Mayfield could potentially just be someone to hold your place. He tends to have a decent first 4 or 5 weeks and then hits a slump. Someone I even looked at when I was looking at some options yesterday was even Will Levis. I know this is his first full year at the helm of the offense, but they gave him 3 good receivers. So it's not like last year where it was DeAndre Hopkins and some random guy they picked up off Broadway. He's got 3 good options with Tyjae Spears, who he seemed to do really well with last year. So if you're desperate enough, you could try to do a Will Levis and look like a genius in 3 weeks.
That's so funny. I didn't want to be the guy that took Will Levis, but in my 24-year league of record, I've got him as my backup to Burrow. So I'm a Will Levis fan too.
You could probably do worse, but I guess for me, I think I would wait until like after today to see how that offense actually operates. Because he's got some stuff, but he's also very erratic and has a lot of mistakes and takes a lot of sacks.
I mean,
know you're not getting dinged for sacks in fantasy, but
realistically, unless you play with a bunch of jerks, which you might, especially if you're in our staff league. Yeah, you're as a Jordan Love owner, you're the only one who was scrambling for a quarterback, so you do have an opportunity to watch, these games today before you make a claim. And I pulled some of the numbers yesterday from Sleeper. Will Levis was 25% owned on Sleeper. Baker Mayfield 13%. Kirk Cousins is only 53%. You're going to get an opportunity to see him before you have to make the claim. Deshaun Watson's only 38% owned. If that's a thing that you're into. And then like Derek Carr's only 42% owned. You get a chance to see Sam Darnold play in Minnesota's offense. He's only 3% owned. He still has Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to. I mean, the other option is you can just kind of stream your quarterback for the next 4 to 6 weeks as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might take back my stance on Will Levis after seeing their schedule for the next 3 weeks. He has to play the Jets next week. And that's obviously going to be a tough matchup. I think looking at all the guys the best players that are still available, you look at their schedules, Baker Mayfield probably has the best one. I mean, he's got the Lions next week, which isn't the best. But then you have Denver, Philly through weeks 3 and 4. And I mean, when you look at it, most of these guys are on that list that are usually still available. Again, like streaming probably will be the best option because like you see Levis isn't going to have a good week next week, but then he plays the Eagles and that should be an easier week for him versus the Jets. And so streaming's probably going to be the best option.
And that depends on league size and what's on everybody else's rosters, how much availability on streaming. I like the streaming idea too, but you just gotta, if you're in a 12 or 14 team league, you may not get that opportunity.
I mean, a 12 or 14 team, 14 or anything beyond 12, you might be kind of looking at your Sam Darnold area anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're thinking you're playing in a 14 team league, a lot of teams probably have 2 quarterbacks. Some might even have 3. So you're looking at, 25 to 30 guys off the board anyway.
And I don't know if it's sad, but I was going to say the sad thing is most leagues anymore are super flex. So
for sure,
a lot of times you start 2 quarterbacks. So
And Joe, I kind of scoffed at you when you first said drafting 2 quarterbacks because I hate that, especially when you think that you're playing in a lot of leagues that are 15, 16 or 16 spots. But then when you present, 66 quarterbacks, that kind of throws in a little bit of a definitely throws in that little bit of hiccup in there.
It was a small thought process for me, but I also drafted like
Joe, aren't all of your thought processes small?
Sometimes depends on the day and the time, and what I was doing 10 minutes prior, and what I'm looking at on Twitter. The other thought process was like, so in one of my main leagues, I drafted Anthony Richardson, and then 7 rounds later, I drafted Dak Prescott. It's like, all right, well, you take this volatile piece, or like I draft Kyler Murray in another league and draft somebody else in later as well. It's like you draft this insanely volatile quarterback who has insanely high upside for fantasy, but there's some injury risk there. So that was some thought process for me, is why I went with 2 quarterbacks, especially, and it's just something I've always done too. That's why I've always had that draft strategy.
Jared Goff is 66% owned in Sleeper, so I mean he's still available in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy considering I remember us talking last week about him, and he finished like top 10 last year. So but
I do have love in one league where I don't have a backup, and the options are not great. So like I'm looking at like Geno, Daniel Jones, Darnold, Joe's cousin. That's Gardner Minshew.
I think Sam Darnold. If you're needing someone today, obviously it's week 1, you probably don't. But Sam Darnold may be someone to look at. They play a lot of weak secondaries in their first couple weeks. Like I really like him today. If you want like a really discounted DFS quarterback, because the Giants have the worst secondary ranked going into this season. They lost their best defensive secondary piece in McKinney. They didn't really bring anyone in that impressed me outside of Brian Burns. And we talked about it a lot last year with so many quarterbacks. When the backup quarterbacks come in and they find their one target they like, they're going to stay throwing to them the whole game. And it's going to be Justin Jefferson. So with no one really to guard him, I think he's going to have a big game today. I think Darnold's going to have at least 200, maybe 225.
So I have 2 questions before Doug makes us go to the thing. So we're going to answer these as quick as possible. So you own Jordan Love in a small roster, like you don't have very many spots, 15, 16, and there's no IR spot. Are you just letting him take up that bench spot for the next 4 to 6 weeks?
Depends. I think so.
6 to 8.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth it. I think it'd be worth to let him ride.
I mean, I feel like everyone has the one spot on their roster where there's a player they picked up because they think he has high upside, but like later in the season, high upside, and you just want to stash him, and you can afford to let him leave for a couple weeks and then come back.
Cut your backup tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to look at roster construction. Usually there's somebody that you can drop. So
I will never cut Chigakonkwo. He will always be on my team with Kyle Pitts.
And then and then my second question before Doug makes us all shut up to go to break. On what did you guys think of the kickoffs for the first 2 games? Because the whole offseason we're talking about how these kickoff opportunities are going to be huge, and then all but 4 kickoffs go through the end zone.
Yeah, all did about nothing so far.
It took half a quarter for the entire kickoff rule to get nerfed. So that to me is very funny.
But
it's
going to happen kind of like the Chiefs preseason game, I think, against the Lions. Something weird's going to happen at some point in time. So.
I don't know. It seemed because the Packers and the Eagles did the same thing where they just decided to kick it out of the end zone. They said it's only 5 extra yards, so we don't care. Like if teams are just going to ride by that, I mean,
I think it looked good on paper, and then a lot of coaches kind of figured out, okay, cool, then we're just going to put instead of just putting, our 6th-string wide receiver that's not going to get touches anyway, like, okay, cool, let's put Kyren Williams. Let's put our fastest, quickest players that are already hard to guard, because now they're going to get at least a step or 2 head start, and the other team's kickoff team is not getting any momentum. So, like, I know they're definitely not going to do it today, but like, let's say Mike McDaniel throws Tyreek Hill out there. If you see Tyreek Hill back there,
he's already fast enough today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like almost like when, like I remember there was a Bears game when Devin Hester was there, and the kickoff team had a penalty, so they were having to kick from like their 20, and they just kicked the ball out of bounds because it was like, we don't want to give him a chance. Like teams are going to start putting their best, quickest guys out there instead of just backups, and teams are just going to keep punting it out. I think it's a good rule. I think it's going to take a year or two to get adjusted. I really want to see some kind of trick play with it, like the little lateral off the return that you sometimes see in college. But I think, yeah, a lot of teams are just like, they're going to get at least 5 yards on this drive, most likely anyway. So let's just let them start at the 30.
So
I think what they're going to have to do real quick is they're going to have to like, just completely nix it halfway through the season to a degree, like change the rules, not get rid of this new kickoff rule. The only way out of this, I think, is that they're going to have to like come out with an addendum or something that says like, all right, anything that doesn't land in the landing zone, the ball starts at the 40. That I think would make them not kick it.
I mean, that's the solution eventually.
You know what? The
question is, does it happen during the season or not?
I mean,
and if
make it like little kids when they're playing next to the high school field. You can't kick it. Someone's got to throw it all the way down there, and then you got to return it, because that's going to stop touchbacks, because no one's going to throw their arm out 80 yards on a kickoff.
And then they got to count to 5 Mississippi before they can rush.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you keep someone like Darnold on the field, is just to yeet the ball down the field.
1 apple, 2 apple, 3 apple.
That'll take us to our first commercial.
Damn it, Doug, I had something to say. I didn't get a chance to watch Friday night's game, and I know Joe probably didn't either. Brian, Dan, did you guys watch?
I followed on CBS Sportsline.
Okay, so ESPN has it that Kenneth Gainwell returned a kick from inside the end zone. Like, he was 6 yards in. So that did happen?
Yeah, it did. You can't do that. Yeah.
No, I know, but it just seems crazy. And he only returned it to the 23. So he cost his team 7 yards.
I think the Packers did it late in the game too, on their last drive, and they only got to like the 15. It was stupid. It was like, what are you doing,
Jordan
bro?
Love's knee died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That will take us to the end of this first segment. On the backside, we will play a game. I did want to point out, I also have a point. I did want to point out that today history will be made, or at least this week history will be made. There will be 18 black starting quarterbacks week 1. That is an NFL record. So
you've already had 4. So
yeah. So that will happen by the end of Monday. So that will be a record. So with that said, we will see y'all on the flip side.
For frequency's sake, has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Head on over to the hardwood with Doug Green and Watching the W each week for all the news from the WNBA. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Dan Hancock and Gotham Gambling will help you cover the spread with the Golden Ticket Show. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Boom, shakalaka. All right, Donald, do you want to drive this game?
Sure.
This is your invention.
My what?
Invention.
I didn't invent it. All right, guys. There's this game called ultimate roster. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, this one's a little more difficult. We're gonna need Brian and Doug to step up on this one.
Well, Brian,
Yeah,
wow, he
I was
retired.
2, DJ.
Yeah, I mean I was 9, but so players stats from only the 2000 regular season. So I mean we got to go Kurt Warner, right? At quarterback. Doug.
So what's the
Yeah.
purpose here? Are we
So
trying
we
to
got
get?
to get the
you have to
highest
build-
scoring fantasy team from each of these positions. I guess that
Yeah, you
explanation
probably-
would have been great.
Yeah,
Okay.
greatest
And
show
only-
on turf is probably the way to go here.
So go Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and
Torrey Holt.
Troy Holt.
Yeah, 2000. That's the year that he won MVP.
Yeah. Would you go? I'm probably off by a couple years because again I was 2, but you wouldn't go Tony Gonzalez there, would you? Or Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp might have been a little late, and Tony Gonzalez might be a little early.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, they threw us a curveball in the first.
2000. My goodness. You wouldn't do Marvin Harrison because that's probably a couple years too early before they're like really humming.
Yeah.
Um,
The Rams played the.
They would have played the Patriots. So who was the wide receiver that got tackled at the 1 for the
for Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Ken
That was the
or
guy.
Dyson, but I don't think he was a top guy. You could do like for tight end, try Frank White. Maybe how good's Frank Wycheck?
Yeah, he was kind of more of a blocking
Yeah.
guy. Like, he wasn't like the tight ends that were awesome.
Oh,
Let's see, we're post Cowboys.
Well, Jerry Rice was still playing and being awesome.
oh yeah.
Randy Moss? No.
Randy Moss isn't a bad one.
All right, well, we'll throw a tight end out there. We'll throw Tony Gonzalez. Was Tony Gonzalez? Yeah, he started in '97. We'll throw Tony Gonzalez in there.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. We sucked on Kurt Warner and Torrey Holt.
The kid born who in '98 got 2 A+.
Dante
Marvin Harrison
Culpepper.
and Dante Culpepper.
Oh wow. Okay, so I guess I was. Wow, that's nice. I was right on Marvin Harrison.
You were.
And I should have. I guess if I would have realized that, I would have been smart to realize Edgerrin James was on the Colts, and I would have thought that too. But that one never really came into my mind. All right.
All right, here we go. Must have been a teammate of Josh Allen. This is perfect for Joe.
Oh God. So
Nathan
who's
Peterman.
been their-
Nathan
their
Peterman at quarterback.
Who's been their backups? Obviously Trubisky. Dak Prescott signed a 4-year, $240 million extension.
Yep.
And Russell Wilson is out.
Okay. Look
So
at
Mitch
those.
Trubisky's got to be the backup quarterback, right?
Yeah, he's got to be
Because they've only had like
Taylor,
Brandon Allen.
because he's the only one that he's the only backup that the Bills have had with Josh Allen that has had like a good season.
All
'Cause he-
careers,
That'd be
yeah.
relative.
It's either him or Tyrod. No, Tyrod never backed Josh Allen up.
And then
Stephon
wide
Diggs.
receivers got to be Diggs, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Diggs, running
didn't
back.
Didn't they
Could you do
sign
Kelvin Benjamin? Because he had
Ooh,
a decent year with Carolina with Cam Newton.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Didn't they sign some like random like Des Bryant type guy for like?
No. Well,
They
maybe.
I would definitely put Kelvin Benjamin in as a flex. You probably would put James Cook as the running back because God knows we've all been lied to about Bills fantasy running backs for the last half decade.
I feel like someone who had a lot better of a year. Like,
Yeah, they had Frank Gore, dude.
yeah, I was like, didn't he play like?
Oh yeah, they did have Frank Gore. Good call.
For like 1 year with Josh Allen.
And then tight end.
It's
Dawson.
got to be Kincaid or
It'd be Knox, I'd assume.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Kincaid or Knox.
Try Tony Gonzalez one more time.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Welcome back. All right, here we go. If quarterback's not an A+, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, no Kelvin Benjamin, Dawson Knox. Let's see who we messed up on.
We nailed
Charles
you nailed the
Clay.
front
Oh,
door
they
one.
did have Shady for a year.
Ah, darn.
That's right.
And Charles Clay. That's awesome. Miami Dolphins legend.
What year was that?
All right, let's run one more.
Yeah, this is nice.
All right. All stats for the last 5 years. So, I mean, we got to go
there's
Josh
no
Allen
back.
at quarterback, right?
So this is the top player at these
Top
positions
player
over
from
the
the
last
past
5 years.
5 years. Yeah, we got to go Josh Allen, right?
It would be Allen. I would probably. Am I nuts to say Devontae Adams?
What about Tyreek?
Ooh,
I think we
that's
do
true.
Tyreek and Devontae
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, and
Because you really
then
got to look for guys who have been.
Kelsey, and then you do McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other. Okay, hold on. Before you submit this, who would you switch at running back? Considering you do have to think like a couple of those years, but early in this 5-year span, McCaffrey played like nothing. Who would the only other
Derrick
running
Henry.
back would be that would like touch him? Would it be Henry?
Henry.
He missed a full
Because-
season.
Yeah, but Henry consistently was like an RB like top 3 the other 4 years.
Okay, I'm just
Let's do Henry.
do Henry.
And
over
we're sure it's
McCaffrey.
Allen and not Mahomes.
Well, when was Allen a rookie?
20. His first
2018,
really.
and he was
Yeah.
bad. And he was kind of bad his second year. Do we want to go Mahomes?
I think Doug's on it. I think we should go Mahomes.
I do too.
Because 2019 is Mahomes' first year where he went ballistic. I think this is the move.
So many Chiefs. Chiefs.
Look at
Hey,
us.
let's go.
Oh, it wasn't Mahomes.
It's got to be Josh Allen then.
It was.
Oh, okay.
And it was CMC.
All right.
Yeah.
No, we were literally off by 200 points. Joe, sometimes on this game, they'll have like college conferences too.
That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
I think I like this a little bit more than the game we had last year.
The connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. But I'll be honest with you. I hope they use conferences from previous years, and thank goodness not this year. I can't keep up with all the mapping.
This one they did the other day. They did must have attended one of the 4 new Big Ten schools in their collegiate career.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh
one.
wow!
It's a way to get the brain moving.
Yeah, Brian,
Yeah,
we
some
really
of-
needed you on when you got kicked out. It was the best of the 2000s or 2000.
Oh wow! Right now, like I said, I'm kind of having struggle with college football because these two teams are playing. You ask yourself, why are they playing? And then you say, oh, they're in the same conference, but one's in California and one's in the East Coast. So I don't understand it. So.
All right,
Yeah,
Doug.
USC Rutgers is not a natural pairing, but here we are.
Exactly.
Doug, we're back on track for you.
An ACC SEC matchup, and it was Cal versus Auburn.
Hey, yeah, Cal ACC powerhouse. Cal went in Jordan here yesterday and won. So holler.
There's a lot of good
Bandy
football.
2-0. Holler.
Yes, yesterday was so good.
Northern Illinois winning
Dude,
over Notre
Not
Dame.
even that. The OK
Iowa
State
Oh,
beating
minus
Iowa.
the
Illinois
OK
beating
State
Kansas.
minus 7.5 cover in overtime.
All timer, the greatest backdoor, front door, whatever you want to call it, ever. What a day! That was yesterday was one of my favorite college football days, like ever. It was crazy,
hit-
just so random, and it was just awesome. Just
You want to know?
bangers.
You want to know what my favorite college football day ever is?
Huh.
It was on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Muted him just
Great.
in case.
It was a great day.
The only thing I
right.
realized yesterday is how dominant ESPN and ABC are in covering college football if you're a DirecTV subscriber.
Yeah.
The mouse controls everything.
Jamar Chase will play. T. Higgins is out.
Good. I don't regret Jamar. I'm not as mad as at Jamar Chase being my first pick in the draft that I couldn't make my first pick in because my internet sucked when I wanted Garrett Wilson. I got stuck with Jamar Chase.
Never forget, I was about to pick Trey McBride, and Doug quick picked me, and I accidentally fucking picked up Raheem Mostert in round 4.
And there's the first F-bomb of the day.
Because I was trying to cue him, and Doug quick picked.
That's worth an F-bomb.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Fields is starting, right?
Yeah.
His hair in this picture that he used, my God. Well, they play the Falcons today too. Well, a lot of people are going to feel
Arthur Smith comeback game.
Can't wait for the Justin Fields toxic. I thought we'd at least get like a month without Justin Fields toxic Twitter fans, but nope. We're back at it already, baby.
You're going to have Brian Blair coming at you on Educated Ignorance tonight.
Nah.
They're probably also talking Angel Reese. All right. With that said, we are going to jump to a break. On the backside, we're going to play a little Flex Marry Kill.
Serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. And with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
And we are back. DJ, I want to mention, I hate your shirt.
You're welcome.
Andrew Pace.
That's mean. Why so negative? Why are we being so negative on this beautiful day?
It's the happiest of holidays.
Yeah, we're just being negative.
We should only be negative towards Arthur Smith. That's it.
That
He's
is true.
there anymore.
Yeah, man. Danny and I are both coming from new setups that have never been seen on the For Fantasy Sake show before. Look at us. We're rocking it.
That duck behind you?
It's not a duck, it's a penguin. There's a duck. There is a duck, but it's not there. The duck is on duck is actually right there. And
you can hear how
there.
excited my dog is for football. Like,
and right
he's
there.
just going crazy.
Exactly. Big old puppers.
All right, so let's play a little Flex Marry Kill here. So we know this game. We're going to start with 3 running backs. So we've got Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, and Jerome Ford are your candidates for this round.
Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay, I'll go first since no one else is talking. I guess I was the only one talking anyway. I'm killing Jerome Ford. I guess would Mary is it technically
Mary is starting. So flexing is flexing, marrying is starting, killing is
okay.
Well, benching because we're not murderers.
Yeah. Javonte and Swift starting and flexing. Ford I would bench.
So I'm gonna marry Ford, flex Swift, and kill Javonte.
Is it just for week 1 or is this season long?
Yeah, just week 1.
Just week 1. Well, he said it the best. I'm gonna marry Javonte, flex Jerome, and I'm gonna kill Swift. I don't know what that Bears offense is gonna look like now. They actually have weapons, and we don't really know what they're gonna do with Caleb Williams this week. So I think Chicago players are kind of out for me right now.
I'm just going to be very careful on this beautiful Sunday morning not to say the word kill and DeAndre Swift in the same sentence.
Big truth to that. Big trust or whatever they say, the kids these days.
Well, yeah, since I don't want to say kill
don't say that,
DeAndre
Joe.
Swift, my order is the exact same. I would start Javonte, flex Jerome Ford, and bench Swift. So.
Brian dancing the political.
And somewhere Chris Steele agrees with Brian.
Yes.
Shout out to Chris Steele. I miss him.
I do too. He was one of my favorites.
We're talking about like he's no longer with us. Shout out to him. All right, wait. Well, let me get my David Guetta on or whoever that guy was. R.I.P. Chris Steele, and shout out to his family.
What is happening, Joe?
You don't get that.
Joe just joked.
Joe is a carbon monoxide leak in his house right now.
One of the like 9 greatest things that came from the pandemic, which there were a lot of hilarious things that came, but this one's like top 9 at least. There was during, I think, like an MLS game or something, they had this DJ person do a performance. I think it was David Guetta, and he's talking like, we need to end, all of this anger, and then at the end he said, rest in peace, George Floyd, and shout out to his family.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he's like fist bumping right after it. All timer. Like, come on, bro. Like, what?
I love how you can tell the age gap between everyone because me and Joe are dying and y'all are looking at us so confused.
I know who David Guetta is, but
it might not be him. I might be totally wrong.
He said the song is dedicated to George Floyd, and then he just dropped like the sickest bass drop ever. It started like fist pumping.
In his Swiss accent. This is to George Floyd. Rest in peace, George Floyd, and shout out to his family.
all right.
Yeah.
Take us to the next one.
Next one.
As the show is derailed.
I'm surprised it took this long, to be quite honest. All right, next up, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, or Stephon Diggs.
Well, since Higgins is now out, we're going to obviously bench him and then take the other two dudes.
All right, well, yeah, which way are you?
Quick, DJ, you're smart. Think of somebody on the fly to replace Higgins so we don't have to burn somebody in the segment.
Deontay Johnson.
There we go.
That's a great job. Look at Danny go.
I would still bench Deontay Johnson. So
Boo.
Deontay Johnson's going to bench himself.
who was the other one besides Diggs?
Michael Pittman.
So I'm starting Pittman, flexing Diggs, sitting Deontay Johnson.
I'm flexing Pittman, sitting Johnson, and I'm killing Diggs. I don't want anything to do with him after the way he acts. Especially like now he's in an offense with three other big targets. Like I give it over under 2.5 quarters before he throws a hissy fit.
Yeah, and I would rather start like my water, the chalice of supremacy here in my lineup than Stephon Diggs or than anybody on the Panthers, I should say. But in this situation, I would probably agree with Danny here because at least Deontay Johnson is a wide receiver, like no doubt the top target on the Panthers, and who knows how the Texans are.
And he's projected at over 48% of red zone targets this season.
Yeah, Johnson will probably have a Thielen type season where he's just targeted a ton of times.
But Thielen's still there, guys.
That he is.
Yeah, that's what they say. I think he's
never heard of that old man.
Yeah, he's there with his little walker and his nurse aide.
Rest in peace, Adam Thielen, and shout out to his family.
You would have loved playing with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you would have.
Next up, we have Taysom. It's Taysom. I don't think it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
Taysom.
Doug, come on. You know what? Sometimes people make typos when they're trying to get stuff together, okay?
Yeah, but when I'm already fuzzy on the names, it's not helping my situation.
I love how the
Taysom
host
Hill,
of this football show can't called Jordan Love Jared Love or whatever the hell his name was like an hour ago.
Taysom Hill, Pat Freiermuth or Dalton Schultz?
If it was like the 9th player on the Minnesota Lynx, Doug, you would have known who it was. I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
Taysom Hill is so funny because there's a fantasy football podcast that I can't believe I listen to a bunch, but they're just great. They're funny. It's cool. And they're talking about how Taysom Hill is someone you need to stash on your bench because, like, if Alvin Kamara goes down, he could be like a top 10 running back person because they're just going to give him the ball a bunch. So it's so funny that he's on here. Right now, though, I would start Schultz, flex Freiermuth, and kill Hill. I know we are rhyming accidentally, by the way. Hill this early, it's so volatile, you don't really know. And Schultz, even though, yes, the target share there is going to be who knows what, so you got to wait a while to figure it out. You at least know that he's going to get targets. Taysom Hill could have like one touch today. Like, really, like you have no idea. And
yeah,
he's random.
but Taysom Hill will have one touch and it'll be a 45-yard run down the right side for a touchdown.
really would be on like a fake punt.
If we've learned one thing from Dennis Allen is that he runs his offense like he's playing Madden. Like he just puts whatever out there and sees what happens. I mean, what was it last year? He ran double quarterbacks for like a week and a half straight. Like, no, I'm flexing Schultz. I'm marrying Taysom Hill because like Taysom Hill's that guy you always have to keep on your bench because you never know when he's just going to randomly have a great game. And I'm taking out Freiermuth because one, I hate Arthur Smith, and we're not going to have Arthur Smith rants this year. I already promised myself that. But two, he couldn't do anything with Kyle Pitts. Do you think he's going to do anything with Pat Freiermuth in that offense? The only reason I would say to take him in is because Justin Fields tends to love throwing to tight ends, as we saw last year with my king Cole Kmet.
So I'm going to flip it up a little bit. I'm starting Freiermuth, flexing Schultz, sitting Hill.
Same.
I thought Brian was going to be the one to play Taysom Hill, and I was going to fist bump to that.
Kendrick Lamar's halftime show.
I have to say, any question that Taysom Hill's an option, he's always going to be ruled out. So,
that is correct.
All right, now we have you are a hater. In a good
the quarterback triumvirate of suck. Daniel Jones, Will Levis, Sam Darnold.
Somebody take over an orphan superflex team.
Yeah, this is I'm executing my fifth freedom or whatever. I am jumping off the bridge. I am drinking the battery acid.
You're in fantasy tender terms. You're closing the app and restarting.
No, Doug he's swiping left on everybody and deleting.
I'm deleting the app if this is my first.
Joe said, "How'd I get on Grindr?"
He's going to Match.com.
Yeah,
I'm going to start Levis here. I'm on the Levis bandwagon. And I'm definitely sitting Daniel Jones. So
I'm flexing Mono Boy. Like I said before, the Giants do not have a defense right now. I'm sitting Will Levis, just because, like I said before, he's gonna their next couple of weeks is kind of weird. So I think he's still worth a roster spot here. And I'm shipping Daniel Jones to China. He's gonna go play for Beijing next year.
He's going to play for the Guangdong Tigers.
Yeah.
and
where is he now?
The only thing that still shocks me is how in the heck did just 2 years ago these same Giants make the playoffs,
win 11
and
games.
Beat Minnesota as an underdog in the first round.
Right?
Yeah. Their skill positions are awful.
That remember that year too, a couple of years ago, their top receiver, like Isaiah Hodgins or whatever his name was, didn't he get cut just like a week ago too? It was a nice reminder of, oh my God, what a weird season that was.
One of my old coworkers has Giant season tickets, and he said last year they sent apology letters to all the season ticket holders.
I bet they were one. That was brutal. Tommy DeVito though, baby. Tommy Cutlets.
What's the rookie running back's name
for them?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't even know.
Isn't it like something Tracy?
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy.
I want no Giants on my roster But if I have a really deep team, I'll take Tracy as my last pick.
I'm going to say I give it to week 6 and Drew Lock starts.
I hope so.
Very well could be.
The only reason Daniel Jones will stay there is in the starting lineup is because they're paying him too much to sit the bench.
I mean, I won't even pick up Lock in a 14-team 2-quarterback league, but still, it's better than Daniel Jones. So
that's no bueno.
Love it. I love this. We're getting all of this negative energy out of our system. I know.
Well,
Brian's been pent up.
I can't direct it to Arthur Smith, so I got to direct it here.
Exactly. But hey, man, the Steelers, bro, their offense is going to be humming. They upgraded so much.
The one thing I'm really proud of for the Steelers is they were part of Doug's stat, regardless of who started today, one of 18 quarterbacks. So,
hey, you know what? That's a great point. Yeah, they were rolling too deep there.
Does Russell Wilson count, though?
That is true. That's a great point.
All right. We're going to take a break. Joe's going to bring the positivity on the backside of this with his Sinister Six. We are also going to have King of the Board, whatever the heck that is, and then some DFS talk with Brian.
We're going to spend a half hour talking about that Oklahoma State cover yesterday.
All right. We'll see you guys on the other side of this commercial.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.
That was a quick commercial. I was expecting more. To be quiet.
That's what
All
she
right,
said.
take it away.
Yeah, shout out to DJ there with that one. That is what she said. They're always expecting more, but you know what? We try our hardest. All right. Yesterday, for what King of the Board is that is our what Danny and I are doing for college bets this year. I had the all-time comeback from 0-3 to 3-0 yesterday, with 2 borderline no-doubters and 1 ultimate greatest. Listen, when you are bad beated, it is deflating. But when you are on the right side of a bad beat, oh baby, it is uplifting. You want to go donate your money to church or something. That the Oklahoma State cover yesterday is an all-timer. It is an all-timer. So we shout out to that. All right, it is the first Sinister Six week. We are last year coming off of just because we embody we are the first team All-Americans when it comes to embodying average. We finished 59-59 last year, 500 right on the dot. So the goal this year, for the love of God, please be 1 game over 500. If we are 60-58, if we do that many games again, I will be happy with the results. Okay, let's get into it. If I pull up my board first, I will say, though, we are unfortunately starting off on the wrong foot because I went against all principles and put a wager out on the overseas game. I took the Packers plus the points like a moron, and that game turned into a high school game. The field was horrible. Everybody was playing like they were drunk off of a bottle of Hennessy, and the Packers defense decided to prove all of the people that back them wrong, who said they would have a top 10 defense this year or something like that. At least that's what it felt. And they got carved up to bits in the second half. Packers plus 3, no bueno. So we're going to flush that, and we're going to wake up today, and we're going to feel good about ourselves. And we're going to start with some positivity. The Bengals, that's positive. Jamar Chase says he's going to play. Positive. They're playing the Patriots, who suck. That's positive. And this is the only team that I really feel confident in as a home team, because when I was first filling this out, I was like, oh my God, why are all these teams I'm taking on the road? This is a home favorite. They're laying 7.5. At least they were when we put this in. Danny, I don't know what it is now. Is it was 1 point up to 9.
This morning it was at an 8. It is currently at 7.5 still holding.
There we go. We will ride that still. We got it at 7.5 on Thursday. Bengals laying it 7.5 against the Patriots, who have just been first team all negative vibes throughout the preseason. All right, let's talk about some points. We have mentioned Arthur Smith way too many times in this show, and it is the Arthur Smith Bowl today in Atlanta. We are going, it might be adjusted now, but we got this at a good number. We got it over a key number as well. We are taking the under 42.5 in Steelers-Falcons today in Atlanta. Falcons offense, new system going against a really good defense. Steelers offense is just, Brian, I'm sorry, not good.
It's trash.
Very trash. So, hey, under 42.5 Steelers Falcons. All right, let's go to Indianapolis. I'm not a huge fan of taking road teams in week 1 or at any point in divisional games, but this is kind of a principal play on the fact alone that the Indianapolis Colts, this is an amazing stat. They are 0-9-1 in their last 10 week 1 games. So this was once a 4.5 point line and just got bet to smithereens, which is incredible. And even though I like the Colts, I love the Texans. And that we are laying less than a field goal with the Houston Texans on the road against a team that hasn't won a week 1 game in 2.5 in almost in literally a decade. Yeah, we're gonna lay the 2.5 with Houston today, and we are gonna enjoy that that little sauce. All right, last game for today because the other one is tomorrow. Another home team. You're going through these week 1 games, there's unknowns, right? So sometimes you just have to go off of how you feel. Now, the team I'm laying the points with, I don't love them, but the team they're playing, I think, is incredibly overrated to some people who are randomly I think they can, saying, I think this team can be a sleeper playoff team. No, their quarterbacks are, like Adam and Eve, basically. That's who they're playing. Their quarterbacks are the Keebler Elf and the Jolly Green Giant on those green beans or whatever. And I don't know the brand, but that is their quarterback.
Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. I don't know the name. I guess that means I need to eat healthier. We are laying the 3 points with the Chargers against the Raiders today. I would love this if it was under 3, but it did go down. It was like at 3.5 at one point. It got to 3. We will gladly lay that against the Raiders, who I think are not good. Okay, and the last one. This is pure vibes all the way around. But Jets plus 4.5 against the Niners, because I think the Jets are going to win it outright on the field. So give me that one. So we started 0-1. We're going to turn that around today and tomorrow. So Houston minus 2.5 against the Colts. Steelers, Falcons under 42.5. Bengals laying 7.5 against New England. Chargers laying 3 against the Raiders. Both of those are at home. And then tomorrow, the Jets on Monday night going to San Francisco plus 4.5 against the Niners. Gentlemen?
Personally, it's your gig, and I think I actually like all those picks today. So no disagreement for me.
You started that like you were about to say they all sucked.
No, man. There are some weeks where your picks.
Don't worry, Joe. I'll tell you when they suck.
Yeah, there are weeks where your picks do suck, but today they're good.
Hey, listen,
as your competitor, they all suck.
We all suck at this. I mean, let's be honest.
So
Danny, we're not competitors. We're cheering for each other. Come on now,
except for one play today, and I'll get to that later. So, we posted our Sinister Six the other day. So I wanted to go over what's been big for us on the Gotham Gambling page. Has been anytime touchdowns and underdogs. So far this season, we are 3 for 4 on anytime touchdowns. We are 6-0 on underdogs in football this year. That's partially to my sponsor, Betalytics. We'll have a code out for that later. You can get 25% off AI-driven plays that have been absolutely amazing. So we have 5 anytime touchdown bets that I absolutely love today. First one's going to be Justin Jefferson to get a touchdown. His odds currently for that sit at plus 130. We used a boost to get it all the way up to plus 200. Again, we talked about it earlier. QB2s like to throw to their go-to target. The Giants have absolutely no secondary. And Justin Jefferson's line, it's at 170. It should be closer to 110. So I'm taking the extra juice here on that, and I'm taking him with ease. The next one we have is James Conner. Now, the odds on him are right around where they should be, but when Kyler Murray was in, he went off last year. James Conner plays his best when Kyler Murray's in because it gives you that dual threat, because we all know Kyler Murray can run and he likes to run. So I'm taking James Conner here. I don't trust the Bills defense. I actually had the Bills covered in the spread earlier, and I took that completely off my board just because the more I saw it, the more I didn't like it, and I want to see what the Bills do. But James Conner is probably one of my favorite players to get a touchdown today. For Jacksonville, I have Evan Ingram. His line should be closer to plus 200. I got it at plus 170. It's at plus 130 right now. Ingram was the second highest targeted player in the red zone last year for the Jaguars. The number 1 and the number 3 are no longer on the team. So it's going to be him and Christian Kirk 90% of the time. When they go into the red zone, a lot of teams like to play zone against Jacksonville, and Christian Kirk does not do well against zone. Trevor Lawrence loves Evan Ingram. They brought him in for this exact reason. Ingram is going to get a lot of targets today. He's going to get a touchdown for sure. And going over to Houston, I like Tank Dell today. I said I didn't want to take anyone in Houston with their field. I love the value on Tank Dell. I got his line at plus 300. It should be closer to plus 200. Tank Dell saw a lot of success against zone. He saw a lot of success against Indy last year. He had a 73-yard game with a touchdown against them last year. I love the spot for him today. I think everyone's going to be focusing too much on Nico and Stephon Diggs, which is going to leave him with either the sub linebacker or the slot corner, and he should be able to take care of that matchup with ease. So give me Tank Dell at the value there. And then my last one that I absolutely love goes into the Raiders game. I got Devontae. If you guys remember, the Chargers put out something on social media basically saying that Devontae was overrated. And he even responded and just said, bet. I think Devontae's going to go off today. His line should be closer to like 180, 190. I got it at plus 210. So I like the value here. Him and Gardner Minshew worked well together, it seemed, in the offseason. He's got a lot to prove this year, especially after doing the receiver documentary. I love the spot for Devontae today. And my last play today, and this is where I said, Joe, I'm going against you here, is our underdog play parlay of the day. We have 2 teams we love for the underdog today, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that their offense matches up a lot better with the defense of LA. And I think their defense and offense, LA's offense is pretty similar to the Vegas offense. I don't think the Chargers come out of this with a win. And I'm going to take Carolina. I think Carolina has a little bit more of a stacked team this year than last year. It could be biased. Dennis Allen is on the hot seat. I'm not sold on Derek Carr. I'm not sold on this offense. I'm going to take Carolina here with a road upset to start the season. You could get both of those at plus 511 on FanDuel, plus 500 on DraftKings. Let's see if we can go a perfect 7-0 in the first 2 weeks of football on underdogs.
I like the Panthers one, just for the fact that if there was, so we've done this before, and this will come back, but I was very busy this weekend to a degree. AKA I watched a lot of football yesterday, and I covered football on Friday. So busy is a relative term, but I did not put together a wouldn't it be hilarious parlay. The most infamous one of those that we did was the last year when I did the the first one I think we did on air was like I think the Packers with Aaron Rodgers was going to lose on the road against the at the time Washington football team, and the Packers did lose, and we almost hit the parlay exactly, which was great. But last year I remember doing one that revolved around the Chargers and the Vikings tying, and we were inches away from that becoming a reality, from it going to OT. So yeah, we've had some doozies with those. If there was a wouldn't it be hilarious parlay this week, Danny, it would have involved Carolina. I think I
have a wouldn't it be hilarious play for you if you'd like it.
There's I would love to hear it in a second. I was going to say though, there is a world that exists today where Carolina scores on their first drive, like they get a field goal, it's 3-0, and then first series for New Orleans, Derek Carr throws a pick, and we're 5 minutes into week 1, and the New Orleans stadium, whatever it's called now, is just booing Derek Carr off the field after their first drive. They like the vibes in New Orleans are so bad. Yeah, I can see
Spencer Rattler.
I want Spencer Rattler. I'm a States fan.
Exactly. Yeah.
When they say who dat, it's because they don't know who's on the team.
They don't know.
Exactly.
No,
their most important player is all the dead money that they have on their salary books.
Yeah.
What would your wouldn't it be hilarious?
My wouldn't it be hilarious play is Bijan Robinson to get 2 touchdowns today. It's plus 800 on FanDuel. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he's going against the coach who did not want to give him the ball inside the 10-yard line? He scores 2 touchdowns, and every time he touches the ball, the camera's just going to go to Arthur Smith.
And no, hold on.
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Can you parlay that with like a Kyle Pitts anytime touchdown? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm on it.
Come on. Let's manifest.
It's a little sprinkle.
Let's manifest this right now. And Arthur Smith's just sitting there like,
Man, that hurts.
Tyler Algier goes down on the first play, and he's just like, well, they don't have an offense anymore. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hurts as a Steelers fan. That's already 3 touchdowns, so we're in trouble for sure.
Yeah. That's the thing. Can this game get 3 touchdowns is the problem. And that's the hilarious part. They get 3 touchdowns in the game.
I was going to say
Exactly.
that would put my underplay in jeopardy. But you know what? Sometimes for the hilariousness, that is I'd put a couple
50
pennies
cents on it to win 10. Why
Let's
not?
go.
You need 8 field goals to win today for sure. So.
Yeah. Shout out to
you could get the Steelers Falcons as the highest scoring game of the day at plus 100,000 odds right now. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh wow.
Yeah, like they just both come out in this like 42-40. Fields
3 pick sixes. Cousins fumbles the ball 5 times.
Incredible.
Halftime score 35-35.
Incredible. So the only negative out of this segment so far has been Danny, actually saying who the Raiders quarterbacks are. You have to commit to the bit with me. Or I'm just going to be the one that does it myself.
No,
and no one else
I'm
can
here.
commit to
I'm
the
here
bit.
for the bit, Joe.
Okay.
Go for it.
So the bit is when you say the quarterbacks for the Raiders, you just have to name 2 random things. So we are 3 shows deep, and the quarterbacks for the Raiders are so far through 1 3/4 shows. Nick Bull, CZ, myself, one of my random cousins that I don't even know, Joe Biden, Tim Walz, Donald Trump, JD Vance, Zach Bryan. Also, I talked to Brinks about this the other day, and we were wondering if Zach Bryan is a real person or not.
Isn't he the country singer?
Were you thinking Luke Bryan, maybe?
No. Zach
No, Zach
Bryan.
Bryan's
There's a country singer.
there's a Zach Bryan.
There's something in the orange, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. That is true. Because
Yeah.
I guess I do remember asking Nick who that was. And then he mentioned something in the orange. Morgan Wallen. And then I said today we have added Adam and Eve, the Jolly Green Giant, and the Keebler Elf. So that is the list. And the goal is at like halfway through the season when this page I have is, 69 names. That's a nice number, by the way. 69 names deep. Doug is going to have like a Where's Waldo collage of all of the Raiders quarterbacks.
I just hope that they go 2 quarterbacks today, and Ryan Allison and Jared Zook just go off.
Could you imagine?
It's like, wow, the Raiders won with an insurance salesman on the field.
And then we can make jokes as Ryan Allison being the quarterback. Like, look at that tapestry he painted across. Look at how artistic that third down conversion was. So yeah, that's the joke. Be a part of the bit. Commit to the bit with us. Be one with the bit. So yeah, those were good plays. That I love how Danny and I, it's week 1, but we're operating like a well-oiled machine. We gave y'all,
because we've been working together every day this year.
that is true.
We have not had a break.
we just put together for y'all a 200-1. Wouldn't it be hilarious parlay in 5 seconds?
If this wins, I'm taking my $10 and going to the casinos.
America, you're welcome. This is what you tune in for. You tune in for the most satire. Like, listen. You might come for the listener questions. You might come for the segments that DJ pulls out of the thin air. You might come for when Chris Steele agrees with everybody on the show when he's on, especially Brian, because Brian is the smartest of all of us.
I wouldn't go that far, but hey.
The truth is, you come here for all of that actually deep down is not true, because you don't want to admit what you're really here for, and you're here because of the satireness, and that's what we're here to provide. And America, on behalf of everybody on this panel, you're welcome.
Work.
Look at that.
I feel like we should be playing like God Bless America right now.
Yeah, God bless America and shout out to their family.
Man, if they wouldn't let us play let us play in the arms of an angel, they better not let us play God Bless America.
Shout out to that Sarah McLachlan special.
Shout out to our NBA specials.
Speaking of Brian, who's the smartest one, I'm tapped out. I think Danny's tapped out.
Yep.
I see DFS is on here, so yes. I think we should turn the kitchen over to our good friend. I was trying to think of a funny little segue to give it to him, to pass the rock to him.
The godfather of our DFS.
That is true. That's a good one.
Hey, I've tapped out and I haven't even said anything yet, but that's okay. So,
damn it.
I think one thing that kind of really stood out for our DFS play today is how our 4 primetime games, the Thursday night, the Friday night, tonight's, and Monday nights are 4 of the top plays in regards to implied totals and whatnot. And there are only 3 teams on the main slate, 25 points or more.
Well, then you lost Baltimore and Kansas City and Green Bay as well. So, and Philly.
Yeah, exactly. So you lost a lot of like top-notch players. So it's kind of an interesting slate. I guess my favorite 2 games from a DFS perspective are Houston and Indy, and Miami and Jacksonville. So
I think not that I'm willing to play any DFS from it, but that Giants Vikings game could be interesting as well.
Well, in DFS they do play defense, so
I know.
Oh yes, that's the type of degenerate stuff that I need at 11:10 on a Sunday. Is how we're going to have Giants Vikings week 1 on the main screen because we are monetarily invested.
Yeah, I can't wait until Rod Villagomez just goes off of that Giants game.
The only player you might want to play is Jefferson, but he's like at the very top, as he always is, with the price game. So. Yeah, I don't think so. That's ugly.
I would like to think that Dayball's going to find some creative ways to get Malik Neighbors the ball today, especially against a team like Minnesota, whose corners are dreadful. So maybe
from memory, his price tag's only like $5,900, I think, today too. So I mean, that's pretty good stuff. So I don't usually like to trust a rookie necessarily in week 1, but. That might be a distinct difference. So
when he might be the offense, the whole offense, and nothing but the offense, absolutely let that thing fly. Let the chopper spray.
7 reverses and 14 targets. He'll be a heck of a game for him.
He's gonna have a Taysom Hill game.
Exactly.
6 passes, 4 runs, 10 catches.
Hell yes. I'm here for Malik Neighbors Wildcats.
Drops a 75 in fantasy.
Yeah. Maybe a Xavier Worthy type game.
Are there any stacks from the games you like that you definitely want to go after today?
Yeah, well, I'm going to start out on the bottom end. I like Jaden Daniels and McLaurin. I think that's, pretty inexpensive. On the top end, needless to say, I like Stroud and Nico Collins. And if I wanted to go really expensive, which I'm not, I was going to say Tua and Tyreek, but I'm not sure if there will be cops on the field for extra defenders. So I'm gonna say Tua and Waddle. So
Yes, Brian. Give into all of your satireness.
I'm so out on Tua forever. Jordan had an interesting one. Jordan's got this nice little graphic that he's gonna we're putting out each week. Let me get it pulled up here. I apologize. Where he had a nice little stack.
What?
Shut up. He had a nice little stack with
He's got a nice
Baker,
little stack,
Baker and Mike Evans and Rashad White, which I thought was fun. But I could definitely see a world where you're kind of running Jaden Daniels and McLaurin, and then trying to see where you can fit in like Evans and Rashad White too as well.
Yeah, I love Evans. White's going to get his touches. I don't think he's that talented, to be honest. He's good, but I don't think he's severely talented. A running back I really like this week is Kenneth Walker. He's going up against, I think, it's either the 31st or 32nd ranked defense from last year. So
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm looking here. Another one. I don't know if you mentioned him, DJ. I'm sorry if you did, but he mentioned Evan Ingram as one of his top plays today too. And you mentioned that Jags-Dolphins game, especially with who knows what Brian Thomas's like early season stuff will be. I think eventually this year he'll be really good. It's why I stashed him in a few leagues. But Evan Ingram early, I mean, he's by far the most reliable receiver that they've got. That I'm sure Lawrence trusts, considering he had 114 catches last year.
Yeah, the only other one I would consider is Christian Kirk. He's at like 5,500. ETN has got an awful matchup. The Dolphins were actually ranked 7th against the run last year. So not a I don't think today's an ETN day. So I like Ingram and or Kirk.
Even looking at the salaries for the tight ends, unless you're willing to bounce down to like Dalton Schultz and Dallas Goedert, Evan Ingram at 55 is pretty good investment as well.
I'm telling you, Sam Darnold stacked with Jefferson.
I'll be honest with you. For me, if I went with that Daniels McLaurin stack as my primary lineup, I would have a hard time getting away from Trey McBride with both Kelsey playing Thursday night and Laporta playing tonight. Neither one of them available on the main slate.
Right.
So for me, I would hop on Trey McBride and just keep jumping.
That's not a bad one either, especially considering who knows what that Bills defense is going to look like today.
Exactly. That's another stack I don't mind, but it's more on the expensive side. Is Cook and Allen.
Yeah, because that could be a high scoring game. I'm looking at the I know DFS isn't my necessary, I don't have a huge bag there, but I'm just looking at the graphic that he put out here.
Talking about Jordan's stack and Joe's bag.
There we go. A couple of these names that popped out. He puts as some bargain bin guys. He put Zach Ertz, tight end for Washington, which is interesting. But he also put an interesting one here, who's going to be now wide receiver 2 maybe today. Andre Iosivas, I think is how you pronounce it, the receiver for the Bengals. He put him on this list here, which I thought is interesting. It would have been a lot more interesting if Chase actually was inactive today, but with T. Higgins not playing, he could be a guy that be interesting to see how they use him now, especially that slot position for the Bengals is open. No Tyler Boyd. So there's going to be targets for him. And he got some work last year too, I remember.
Yeah, and I don't have the price tag off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's very low. And, basically in DFS, we're trying to get 2.5 times the salary value in regards to points. So he could go for, 4 catches and 50 yards, and I'm sure get his value or close to it. So.
Okay. Look at that, Doug. We're right on time for you and everything.
Joe, what is his salary just off the
It looked like the graphic says here 3,000.
3K? Yeah. So 2.5 times.
That's just
10
what, 7.5
points is doable.
points, 7.5 to 9 points. Yeah, that
Yeah.
wouldn't be hard to do.
And all the things
And
you can build
also-
around him by going that low.
That's what I was about to say, is that's the nice thing about getting somebody like that nobody else is necessarily playing. It's basically a free square for cheap that you can play around. And that's the same thing with the Daniels McLaurin stack over some of the others I mentioned. So
I like watching DJ trying to do Rocky math on the fly.
I like watching you go somewhere else.
Don't you threaten me with a good time. All right, that will take us to the end of this exciting segment. On the other side, make sure that you get in your questions if you've got any. We will answer them on the back side of the commercials, and I will continue to vamp as I try and figure out which ads I need to play, and then we will go. All right.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
You from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
You from the West, we got you covered.
Because big time football has big time football. All right.
But they've got you covered.
Poetic.
All right. So, reader question. Let's see what we've got. First up, as always, is Miss Lydia. How do we feel about Jefferson with Darnold?
I think.
Do I need to say it again?
Yeah, I think Dan pretty much covered it, with the backup quarterbacks. They go to one of two guys, their main guy or the guy they've been on the practice squad with all off season. Darnold's had plenty of reps with Jefferson, so the practice squad thing doesn't really work. But yeah, I think Jefferson will be just fine.
Look, I understand Sam Darnold's a practice squad talent, but hey, he's starting today. Give him
No, but if you think about it though,
No,
like a lot of times when you get to that backup quarterback late in the season, they've got that chemistry with the practice squad wide receiver who comes out of nowhere and puts up big games.
Yeah, it's like, why is he throwing to the fourth wide receiver? It's like, well, he practices with him all the time, so
And I don't even remember who started at the end of last year after Cousins got hurt. But
Was it
I mean,
McMullins?
Darnold sucks, but he's better than that guy. So.
Dobbs, Jaron Hall, and Mullins.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot.
Jaron Holland and Mullins. He's better than those two for sure.
Yeah.
And Jaron Holland played 6 games and got concussed, or 6 downs and got concussed, and that was his season.
That was his career with the Vikings.
All right. From Anthony Bluer. Lex, how'd you say that? Yosivas?
Yeah, I think it's
Yoshi. Yoshi is just what everyone calls him.
Yoshi? Okay. Yoshi or Chase Brown?
I gotta go Yoshi there. I think Chase Brown's gonna have it's gonna turn a lot into what we saw in Indy with Zach Moss last year when Taylor came back, where it's gonna be a running back by committee to start. Chase Brown was their go-to behind Mixon on like throwing downs, but I think they're gonna want to try to get Chase a lot of reps in. I think they're gonna want to throw a lot. And Yoshi played really well last year when he got his reps, so I like him.
I'm going to go Chase Brown. Most leagues are PPR, and this is who's going to get the most touches kind of thing. And I don't know. The Patriots aren't going to probably be in this game, so second half they may go to a more running plays than passing. So
it's a hell of a take right there, partner. And I agree with it. I think that's good. I think The question I'm going to be wondering though in that game, just running back wise, is like to Danny's point, like who gets the work. I think Brown's better. I just do. I think you know what you know with players, and Zach Moss has never really been. I mean, he had that like 4.5 week stretch with the Colts last year, and the where he was like goated and bloated. But yeah, Yosavas might be safer today, but I think, yeah, I think Brown overall, but it's closer, I guess, today because you don't really have a clue on what the Bengals are going to do running the football.
I think Yoshi's a more sexy pick in DFS because of the price tag, but we're not talking price tag here. So
yeah, and there's a chance that it's like, oh my God, he has 2 touchdowns in the first half. What is going on here? It's like breakout star, and his name's cool. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You never can tell.
It's
but
the Puka Nacua of this year.
Could be not a rookie though, but
Close enough.
Yeah.
All right. Also from Anthony Bluer, for a flex spot, Godwin or Mostert?
Oh,
I want Chase Brown for the last question, by the way.
Nobody cares about your opinion.
And I'll go Mostert here.
We need like a air horn sound effect whenever they go at each other, just to like. Burr, 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 burr.
Where's Rod? Rod had the soundboard.
Yeah.
I'll go Mostert here. I think he has a bit of a better chance of having a good afternoon. I get it's a split backfield, and A-Chain's probably going to get majority of the touches. But
are we sure about that?
I mean, whether he does or not, we saw it last year. Both of these guys can go off for 100 on 5 touches.
Exactly.
If need be. And I think what's making this team so deadly is you really don't know what they're going to target. So you got to prepare. You have to prepare to blitz and man cover with 8 people at the same time.
As a Dolphins fan, I would love it that A-Chain gets as many touches as Mostert. Not that Mostert's a bad player. I just think A-Chain has, if Mostert has a bottle's worth of juice, I think A-Chain has an ocean's worth of juice.
You have a bigger bottle.
Huh?
You have a bigger bottle.
I mean, I do. I just wanted to actually have a bottle.
Yeah, but you could have been like, if Mostert has a bottle's worth of juice.
Oh, yeah.
A-Chain has a bigger bottle's worth of juice.
There you go. Good one. Good job, DJ. You finished my punchline for me. But also there is a world that those of us who took Devon A-Chain early in drafts, top 20, aren't we just kind of right now trying to talk ourselves and speak it into reality that he's going to get a bunch of touches? I feel like that's
we really don't know.
Exactly. But I would just take Mostert right now because though Godwin is, there's a lot of buzz behind him moving to the slot and he's going to get more targets because of it. So we'll see. But I think right now, early in the season, you try to go off of what you know. And, well, you should do that anyway. But go off of what you know, and that's that Mostert, worst case, it's 60-40. And he still has a solid day.
And I'm assuming Mostert will be the goal line back. So over A-Chain.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going Mostert also.
Though I will say, to spin it, if you're going Godwin, it's not that bad of an idea because, again, might be a update, might be a little bit of a slight uptick in his targets. And we mentioned the Vikings corners earlier being bad. The Commanders have maybe the worst defense in the league. So there's a possibility there that Tampa could be humming today offensively.
I mean, I love Mike Evans, so today.
All right, next up from Rampage 2009, for a flex spot in a non-PPR scenario, Aaron Jones, Marvin Harrison, or Ramondre Stevenson?
Stevenson.
Yeah, the Bengals weren't great with the run last year, and I haven't seen anything really improvement. I would go Stevenson. I think the hot pick everyone would want is Harrison Jr., but we don't know what that Bills defense is going to look like. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be like it did last year, but again, it's a rookie in his first game. We also don't know what he's going to do. So I'm going Stevenson here. I think this team's just going to be designed around the run this year.
It's got a tough call here. In a non-PPR situation, you're looking for the potential score, and I'm going to have to go the sexy pick of Harrison just because are the Patriots really going to score that much? So
I would love to know what type of league that this is in for
The
a couple.
non-PPR one.
Other than that, is this a redraft league? If so, I would hope that a guy that you probably had to spend a top 15 pick on in Marvin Harrison, I hope you're not considering leaving him out of your lineup. If I had to guess, this is a dynasty league where you actually drafted and it's like, okay, I have other good players in my wide receiver room. So that's if you're looking at this from a perspective of like a redraft, you have a normal roster. Marvin Harrison Jr. was going like top 15, no doubt about it. Like he went top 10 and he went first round in my main league. He's going first two. Like I think I was in 6 leagues, and I don't think the lowest I saw him go was like middle of round 2 in all of these. Other wide receivers are Nakua and Lamb. So okay. That is. I mean,
that's definitely a dynasty.
Hey, by the way, shouts to this guy for making the comment at 10:44 with the question and still sticking around for the answer. Shouts to you.
Absolutely. And with that rock GIF looking memeable worthy picture he's got, love it. The only thing that would make it better is if it was the rock turtleneck picture, so that's fair. And I wasn't trying to be bashful in any way. I'm just, I was just thinking.
Bashful means something else, buddy.
Let's say, Joe, bashful is not in your.
All right.
I wasn't trying to bash.
Okay. Anyway,
he wasn't full of bash.
What I was trying to. I wasn't trying to bash him. What I was trying to just say was trying to have to put some context on it. I would say Harrison, though. I do not want to play anybody in that Patriots offense. And the Aaron Jones thing, I like him. It's just a question mark of like, what is that offense going to look like as well? So, live with the upside, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, it's week 1. You gotta live risky.
All right. Next up from Jordan, we want Cooper or Neighbors.
So I was told I'm not allowed to guess on it or make a suggestion on Jordan's because Jordan sniped 4 of my wife's picks in our draft in a row. So, Jordan, you have some hate mail coming your way if you win this week because you're playing her too.
He's a daggum legend.
I'm going Neighbors here. I don't like the match.
Good job.
Neighbors.
You know what? I'll stick with it. I'll stick with my old reliable. Give me Amari Cooper. Let's ride. Let's ride them till the wheels fall off, baby.
It's Amari Cooper, not Cooper Kupp?
Yeah,
Ooh.
I'd assume so. Jordan, correct us if we're wrong.
Well, I mean, I would take either of them over Neighbors.
Yeah, I would hope that.
But Neighbors has the upside of 10 touchdown passes and 8 running plays and 10 receiving yards, as we mentioned earlier. He's going to run everything.
Guys, Doug's not even gonna let us play rapid fire. Come on.
I'll let you play rapid fire. All right. And the last up, Gunner, is looking for Stroud or Caleb Williams.
Stroud.
I told him if he wasn't a wiener to play Caleb Williams because he's a Bears fan.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, if you're a Bears fan, ride with it, but it's Stroud. So
that's true. Yeah, live on everything today. And enjoy it, Bears fans. But yeah, I think Stroud's the right play today, just because I think that's you gotta know, again, go with what you know. But I think Caleb will do well today. But yeah,
my philosophy is Stroud's good and Caleb's unknown. So
it's a great philosophy, especially again week 1. Go with what you know, baby. That's the theme. That's the theme of the day.
My philosophy is Hakuna Matata.
All right, here we go. Rapid fires. Quarterback 1.
Stroud.
Josh Allen.
Patty Mahomes. Running back 1.
CMC. The obvious.
CMC. Bijan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bijan for the revenge game.
I'm going to say no to Bijan. CMC.
I'm going to go David Montgomery.
Oh, I hate you. I was going to take that one. You capital W 5-letter word that rhymes with door. Yeah, I'll take David Montgomery too. My original pick was gonna. You jerk.
It's gonna be funny when the Raiders win too.
Stealing my thunder. Yeah, maybe.
Wide receiver 1.
Mike Evans.
Tyreek.
Malik Nape. No, I'm kidding.
Amari Cooper.
Give me Tank Dell.
That would be wild. I will go with wide receiver 1. Give me. I just slipped. My brain just completely froze. Everybody. Give me Cooper
Liberty
Kupp.
or give me death.
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sorry.
That's good.
That's what I was gonna pick.
Look my kneecap.
Give me JJ. Tight end.
McCarthy?
Kyle freaking Pitts. Let's go.
That's what I was gonna say. Evan Ingram.
Trey McBride.
Kyle Pitts would just be the greatest. Dalton Kincaid.
If Kyle Pitts ends up wide receiver 1, I will buy a Kyle Pitts jersey.
That would be amazing.
I'll put that right in the show. I will buy a Kyle Pitts jersey if he finishes wide receiver 1 any this season.
Tight end 1.
Or tight end. You know what I meant, DJ.
I just want to make sure you don't get out
DJ,
on the
I have been
loophole.
up since 3 in the
I don't
morning.
want you to get off on the loophole. I don't want you to be like, I said wide receiver 1 guy. Sorry.
Yeah. DJ, I don't even remember what I said 5 minutes ago.
I want accountability here.
You've been actually keep track of these this year? Of course we're not.
You've been up since 3, and I stayed up till 3 to get this done. So
that's in our fine print. That's our slogan of our channel. We're accountable. For frequency's sake, we're accountable.
It's a show.
Next up,
Y'all
who's more likely to pick?
Y'all call me the smartest guy on the show. I didn't want to sound like the dumbest. So,
attaboy.
Not while DJ's here.
Exactly. Who is more likely to paint their nails for a Bears game, Joe or Doug?
Joe. He's got him done right now.
100% Joe.
Yeah, look at me.
I think nail
I'm
polish.
gonna go with the wild card, and I'm gonna say CZ.
CZ. There we go. You stole my answer. No, that's I would say out of the two of us, me, but I don't think I'll go. If we win the division, I'll paint my nails.
Accountability. Write it down.
He'll wear a Kyle Pitts jersey
while wearing a Kyle Pitts jersey. Yeah, and doing a David Guetta performance.
And then last up, what game are you watching that is not your team?
Oh, should I go like the hardcore or nerdy? Because hardcore is tonight, that Rams-Lions game where I will be capital D dialed in.
Hardcore would be Giants-Vikings, brother.
That's degenerate.
I'm watching my beautiful King Scott Hansen all day today.
But
same.
So since Joe's a Dolphins fan, so he couldn't use that game, I'll use that game. It's mine.
Important game for week 1. That game has low key the most stakes.
I'm watching Bears Titans.
The other one for me would be Cardinals Bills, because hook every second of the Arizona Cardinal season into my veins, because they are going to be amazingly fun to watch.
Joe, I'm not clipping that entire game for you.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Ace of the Liberty. All right. So,
yes. Hell yeah. We are back, baby.
I'm watching the White Sox, Red Sox. That's what I'm watching today. Sign me up for 5th place baseball.
I was about to say, did you bet it or something?
Yeah.
Dang.
White Sox money line, baby.
There you go.
That's somebody who doesn't enjoy happiness right there.
Exactly.
Betting on the White Sox money.
Maybe we can win their 41st game or something today.
Bro, all right.
Not even that. It's like 33rd.
Fun baseball side fact. The AL Central Division as a whole, if you add their whole record up, is below 500. There is only one team in that division with a below 500 record.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
I saw that earlier this week. And
they were like 39 games under 500.
Have you not seen Miguel Vargas every game? He's just trying to kill himself at this point.
If they lost out, they could lose out and they would finish 100 games under.
Dude, he went from the Dodgers to the White Sox. I feel bad for that man.
Hey, man.
And they won 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals.
That they did.
Yeah.
They did,
that
buddy.
was fun.
Been a long summer, DJ, for the Reds and Cardinals. So
Big red machine.
Yep.
Hey, at least the Cardinals won 6 of 8 against the Braves. It's fine.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Reds have beat all the good teams and get beat by like the A's.
It's okay. We're still in the wild card.
It's okay. Who cares?
All right, that will take us to the end of this week. We will be back next week. I'll actually even be back next week. Joe will be back tonight for Educated Ignorance, so make sure you pop on for that. The Football Lounge boys will be on tomorrow. If you are into wrestling, the Card Subject Exchange guys will be on earlier this afternoon as well. So plenty of stuff to get your 4 frequencies safe fix in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we want to thank our sponsors of Durham Remodeling, Brian Allison Tattoo, Jared Zuck Country Financial, Clint's Draft House. We want to thank all those guys. We want to thank everybody who tunes in.
Shouts to Rampage 2009 too.
Yeah, absolutely. Other than that, we are who we are, and we will see y'all next week.
Good luck with your matchups. You got to say that. You got to throw it to Brian to say it.
Best of luck, everybody. Just glad to be here.